My name is Vick and I'm the CEO of ETQ, a Hexagon company. We are a leader in quality management and environmental health and safety solutions. We'll be joined by Tom, Mary, and Ben, and they'll bring their firsthand knowledge about quality-based challenges, but also bigger benefit of building business value through quality. But first, let's learn a little bit about each of our guests. Thank you all for being here today. There's a tremendous amount of extremely exciting and impactful work that you and your teams are doing. So let's get into some examples and dig a little bit more deeper. Does that work?
Yes.
Very good. All right, so let's start off with something basic. What's the role of quality in your organization? How has quality and your role evolved at your company? We'll start with you, Ben.
Sure. Well, I think without quality, you have rubbish, you have garbage. So it's a key role. It's a critical role in the company, and it helps ensure that the promise of the brand is met for the customer, and that the customer will be happy with our product. So how it's evolved for me, that I've seen in my 25 years at the company, serving in roles in IT as well as in quality and supply chain roles, I've seen quality. 2 or 3 decades ago, it was truly a vertical, where quality were the ones who were responsible for quality, and it was very traditional quality, focused on product quality, focused on complaint and post-market surveillance, and then that has changed, has evolved to quality is now a horizontal. It's everybody's responsible for quality, and there's quality in your research and development group. There's quality through supply chain, through procurement with supplier quality management, through manufacturing, through logistics with monitoring the quality of the product as it moves about the logistics network, quality on the store shelf in my case, and then quality, of course, with the customer and with the consumer.
Mary?
So for Ecolab, quality is one of the 3 pillars that we have between safety, quality, and ethics. And that has been a journey for the company. It used to be, much like Ben was talking about, siloed. Quality is responsible for quality, and now it's part of who we are. It's part of our DNA. And that journey has been remarkable over the last 5-6 years in particular, because we had disparate quality systems, we weren't talking to each other, and data just didn't mesh. And so we were spending a lot of time doing administrative stuff rather than spending the time focusing on root cause. So it's been a huge evolution for us, and it's made a massive impact to our organization.
Thank you. Tom?
So at Corning, the quality is not only one of our 7 values, it's actually our guiding principle. At Corning, we have a culture of total quality, meaning it's everyone's responsibility. We are all striving to give the best customer experience that we can by continuously improving our products and services.
Speaking of moving from quality, how you operationalize it, let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things your organizations have thought about related to operationalizing the use of the ETQ platform through your organization. Tom.
Sure. So at Corning, we have a unique implementation of Reliance. We have 8 separate deployments of the software. And when it came time to truly operationalize our implementations, we needed a good support model. So in 2018, I started a brand new team in our corporate IT space to really give us a center of excellence for all things ETQ related, and to give the company a central spot that they could call for help, request enhancements for upgrades, patches, those type of things. And it's definitely been helpful. We have had almost a 300% growth in our usage of the platform in the past 5 years.
Ben?
Yeah, for us, standardization was a big thing. We had, similar to what Tom was mentioning, we had a lot of different quality management systems in the company, and with ETQ, we decided that the time was right to standardize for the company, to have one QMS for the company, one way of doing things, having even quality metrics defined the same way around the company. So not only that, but also for operationalizing, we had to make sure that there was additional benefit for our users, not just the use of a tool and standardized forms and workflows and such, but the reporting and analytics piece was a huge benefit that people saw that if I do this, I'm going to get this other benefit as well. And it'll eliminate the manual time it was taking me to create monthly types of reports and analytics of the past.
Mary?
So we've been, our journey with ETQ started only in 2019. So we're actually still going through deployments. But thus far, it has been a game changer for us. Again, we started with many, many different quality systems, some of which were literally email and spreadsheets. And we have manufacturing locations across the globe, almost 200 locations, and having everybody all in the same boat, sharing the same data has been a massive improvement in terms of sharing root causes and really helping us solve problems before they become an issue for us. And as a result of that, we have seen a significant decrease in the amount of critical quality incidents that we've had, as well as customer incidents. And I think a large part of that is driven because of ETQ.
So given that we're talking about disparate sets of data, to be pulling it all together as part of a comprehensive quality program to make decisions, what sort of third-party integrations has your company brought into ETQ Reliance? Ben?
Yeah, we have a number of them. A big one for us is with Salesforce.com. We use Salesforce as our CRM tool, but we also use Salesforce at all of our customer and consumer feedback call centers around the world. And so when feedback comes in and it's related to a product complaint, with our integration with Salesforce, that complaint information is automatically transmitted to ETQ. A complaint record is created, it's investigated through ETQ, and then the results are all sent back to Salesforce so that the call center has all the information that they can provide to the customer or to the consumer. That's one example. SAP is a big one for us, both with SAP, ERP, and we also use PLM in SAP, and having connections with ETQ has been very important to us. And other tools like Workday, for example, are also very beneficial for us with integration.
How about Ecolab? How about Corning?
So at Corning, we actually have a very similar implementation for our CRM integrations to what Ben just mentioned. In addition to that, we also have integration with a number of commercial off-the-shelf products, as well as some homegrown products as well. Looking at as far as categories of applications, we look at a number of different systems, from product specifications, our master data management system, our HR systems, our ERP systems. So again, we have a number of systems that we've integrated with, and again, the tools that are available within the ETQ Reliance platform have made that an easy process for us.
So one of the things we talked about is quality improvement. One of the old adages, you can't improve something that you can't measure first. So let's talk a little bit about what KPIs or key metrics do you guys use in your organization to measure quality, and more importantly, why is that the case? this time definitely we'll start with Ecolab.
All right, so for Ecolab, we use a quality pyramid.
Okay.
And of course, at the very top is all of the reactive stuff. So we talk about critical quality incidents, major quality incidents, et cetera. And then we work our way down to quality observations, in which case we want to make the changes before they become issues. And thanks to ETQ Reliance and the data that we have, we've actually seen a massive improvement in terms of our KPIs. Since 2020, we've been able to record 0 critical quality incidents. And I want to note that in 2019, we had 31. So we're not talking about small numbers here. And we've also had a massive increase in the number of quality quality observations. We have 144,000 quality incidents last year from across the globe from all of our associates, utilizing ETQ as that record of truth. So it's been a huge thing for us, and our data proves it out and shows us that our metrics are really significant and making an impact on the organization.
Fantastic, fantastic. How about Ben?
We have a lot of more traditional quality KPIs that we manage and have automated through ETQ, things like complaints per million products sold and so forth. But we also have an enterprise quality metric called Right First Time that measures quality through the entire supply chain. So it takes our supplier quality performance through procurement. It takes our manufacturing quality, product quality performance. It takes our what we call our move, or our logistics quality performance, how the quality of the product is through the logistics network, and then it also takes the store shelf quality performance into consideration to have KPIs for all those but then it also rolls it up into one total number for the company.
So it sounds like all of you have done some interesting things around integrations and analytics. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about your plans and strategies to improve the decision velocity that we talked about, and what predictive analytics might be important for the future. Tom?
Sure. So I think obviously the data is very important, and having fast access to real-time data. Then you can actually make your predictive analytics and make changes and adjustments before it becomes a bigger issue. I think there's a lot of different technologies that will help support that, but I think really it comes down to giving people the access to the information they need at the time they need it.
Ben?
Yeah, I think it ties back to what you had mentioned earlier in your presentation about there's data in all these different sources that are useful, whether it's your ERP system, your MES system, the ETQ QMS system, PLM, in our case, vision, camera, high-speed camera systems. All that data together can lead to some very interesting insight and also risk awareness that a human being might not have seen. It would just be too much data to process very quickly. So our strategy, take all that data and see if we can use that to help us with risk identification and predictive analytics.
So that leads to the thought process about making more informed or better business decisions. So maybe we can talk a little bit about how do executives at your company use quality management and the manufacturing data to guide the business, and how has this effort improved the decision-making velocity for the organization? Mayor?
Yes, for us, we've done presentations to the board because of the success of our quality management system. And as a result, we take the data, we make decisions about where we're going to invest based on first pass fail, CPK, based on where we're seeing more quality incidents versus others. And the ability to have that data all in one place to make that picture and to make that return on investment very, very clear has been significant to the organization, and certainly they have made investments based off of that.
Terrific. Ben?
Yeah, by making it visible, it allows them to ask the question of why. Why is this happening? Why are we seeing a particular quality KPI going red instead of on target or green? And by asking why, then they can work with their business units and their teams to help identify what's happening, what are the barriers that we might need them to help us overcome.
So speaking of KPIs, it would be, I think, very helpful for if you guys could explain how you're tracking the cost of quality, but more importantly, the cost of poor quality. Tom?
So for the cost of poor quality, I'd say it's easier to measure, because if you have something that's returned to you, or you have to do some rework or reinspection or reanalysis of a part, you can measure the amount of time, energy, and resources that goes into that. Moving into that and looking at it in kind of a different spin is, again, with the continuous innovation and the continuous improvement of your processes, and looking at how can you avoid costs to really streamline your operations. So really our cost avoidance through time savings in a lot of cases. That's another area that we've actually looked at and continuously try to make adjustments to our processes in order to achieve.
Mary?
Similar to Tom, a lot of investment in the, looking at what are the costs of quality, where are our barriers, where are we seeing issues, sharing best practices across the organization, and then really kind of focusing in time and investment and resources where we see gaps in our processes. And that has allowed us to really kind of improve our quality. As I indicated by our metrics, it really has made a huge difference for us to be able to track that quality.
So one of the areas that we've discussed a lot at this conference is supply chain. How important is supply chain visibility and supplier quality to your organization in this journey of quality management program? Ben?
Yeah, supply chain visibility is very, very important. Not only for quality, but also for sustainability and for procurement, identifying where there might be risk in your supply chain, not only from a sourcing perspective, but also a social compliance perspective, understanding who your suppliers are, who their suppliers are, all the way to the source is becoming more and more important and required for many types of categories. So visibility is very important, and supplier quality itself is critical, because that ties to your raw materials that are used to make your product, and without good raw materials, you're not going to have a good product. So supplier quality is just absolutely vital to having a good quality product.
Mary?
So for us, we focus a lot on our suppliers and risk mitigation. So identifying what suppliers are being successful, not having incidents, not having scars, and putting all of our attention on those that need the help and support to get themselves up to the level that we would expect from them. And we use data to do that. So we SCAR data, we look at auditing data, we look at overall procurement information, and that comes together to help us make sure that we're focusing on the right things. Because when you have hundreds of thousands of suppliers, you can't focus on all of them. So being able to focus the beam is a significant thing for our organization.
So moving from business decisions to more around sustainability aspect, would love to hear, what role do you guys think does the quality management program play in your company's sustainability efforts, and how do you see it evolving in the future? Maybe we can continue with you, Mary?
Sure. So Ecolab's focus is very much on water and CO2 carbon emissions, and we've done a lot of focus on our customers, and now we're looking internally. And so utilizing our quality management system to, again, identify where do we have more instances of first pass fail, where do we have more instances of non-conformances, and where do we need to go in to help assist them to bring them up to that new level of expectations. That helps save water, it helps save energy, because you're not doing all of this rework. And so sustainability has to be owned by everyone, and we try and drive that through the entire organization. But using data to prove and truly show where the problems are is a really great resource for us.
Ben?
Yeah, I think sustainability has always been the right thing to do. And now there's more and more compliance requirements with sustainability, similar to what quality has been, the environment of quality. So what I'm seeing is compliance requirements that are very similar in many cases to what quality has. So there definitely is a lot of common ground where sustainability can use a lot of our quality processes to help meet their own compliance requirements here.
So moving from the boardroom and the top floor, let's start moving more towards the shop floor. So we've talked about connected worker being a big emerging market trend right now. Big focus on process extensions to the shop floor, workforce optimization through training, upskilling, communication, collaboration. Can you talk about your connected worker strategy and what components are most important related to quality and safety? Ben?
Yeah, this one is very important. When it comes to predictive analytics and other advanced analytics, data is what you need, and a lot of it. And for our shop floor, they need, if we want more data, we have to make their job simpler. We have to make, in this case, the quality management system, ETQ, easier for them to use and faster for them to use. So using mobility for them so that on a mobile device that they may have with them, they can very quickly open it up and scan a QR code, open up a controlled document, a document control, or very quickly take a picture to create a nonconformance and submit it using voice dictation to fill in the fields, for example, or a safety event in the same way, or create a supplier corrective action request, a SCAR, taking pictures of the defect that they're seeing and quickly submit that, and then put it away instead of having to wait until they have a chance to get over to a computer and recall everything that they remembered about the issue. So that's key to make our workers' jobs simpler, faster, and then give us more data that we need, which will then just drive overall better quality.
True. Tom?
So I think going along with Connected Worker really ties into, as Ben mentioned, data and decision velocity, being able to have access to the information you need at the time you need it. I think with advances in technology, we can see that potentially shift into the mobile technologies, even smartwatches, for example, to have a notification pop up in real time when there's an issue that's about to occur or anything that has been detected in the data. I think historically we're very reactive, where we have SPC dashboards around the shop floor, and we are looking at the screens and relying on our operators to constantly go monitor and make sure that things are within the allowable specs. And I think looking forward, we could automate a lot of that, and again notify people at the time that they need that information.
So just trying to bring it back together, we talked everything about a comprehensive decision support system through a quality management program, building out an ecosystem, using data, using analytics. But fundamentally, at the end of the day, more than just productivity or improvements, one of the tangible benefits that I think the audience would love to know about is what's been the financial benefit that has resulted from this work? Mary?
Yeah, we've seen quite a few. A lot of them are type 2 type savings. In particular, prior to ETQ, we were spending a lot of time on administrative processes, hunting down emails, hunting down suppliers, and now we have it streamlined, and so we can focus on the right thing. And that means that, quite frankly, we've had headcount reductions because of it, because we could afford to shift resources to other places. And ETQ has been a great partner for us to be able to do that and to be able to focus the beam on the things that are really important for us, and we've seen that benefit and been able to reapply it to other areas within the company.
Tom?
So I think the cost avoidance through time savings that I mentioned earlier, I'll bring that up again because I feel like that's where we have seen a lot of process improvements, removing those non-value adding steps, removing a lot of the bureaucratic steps from our processes, being able to really focus on what's important. Again, because we have 8 separate deployments of the software, if you make one change and design it in a way that you can reuse that same type of enhancement or same type of improvement to the other instances, your returns start to become exponential.
One of the things we talked about in one of the tracks was Quality 4.0, almost like a best practices blueprint of putting together a quality management program. I know each of you guys has been kind of heavily involved in pursuing that in your organizations, but what challenges have you had in scaling or adapting your quality management practice to meet some of those objectives? Would love to talk about that. Ben?
Yeah, I would say a big challenge is making sure you have good, clean master data and taxonomy, that your lists in your system match lists in other systems where you're bringing data together, or that they're normalized in some way, and that there's governance around that, so that if something master data is entered in over here, that it gets over here, you don't get out of sync, or you don't have duplicate and things that are slightly different. So that's definitely a challenge to overcome, is having good master data governance. And then the other one is not overwhelming your employees. Making sure that you're not doing too much transformation at the same time and overloading people, so that as they're being trained on something, they're not being trained the next day on something else, and then the next day on something else where they can't retain it. So making sure that training is done as effectively as possible, so that people can retain what you've taught them and can use the system successfully.
Slowly but surely, as they say. Mary, how about you?
Well, we've had unique challenges in that a lot of our growth has been through mergers and acquisitions. And so you bring on new companies, they have their own systems. And so, no joking, we have 60 ERP systems across the globe. So data integration has been a great challenge for us. And so coming and bringing all that data into ETQ so that all of our suppliers, even though they have unique identifications, we can still bring together and merge that data together and to be able to analyze and look at everything across the board has been significant for us. In addition to that, we have disparate processes or disparate requirements because we have things that go into restaurants to wash your hands, which have minimal regulatory requirements, to clean rooms. So you have to find that balance between making sure that you're following FDA regulations for the clean rooms versus not being onerous to the people who don't really care about those processes. So utilizing workflows to be able to identify and make sure we're managing that has been a significant area of focus for us.
That's good advice. So speaking of advice, there's probably a lot of quality professionals over here who are looking to maximize the value that they can get from their own quality EHS or compliance programs. If you had any advice for them, what that might be. Tom?
My advice is, again, I think the common theme that we've heard is data and emerging and advancing technology. So I think my advice would be, don't just treat your IT group as a support organization where you only call when there's something wrong. Partner with them and realize that they can be that enabling partner to get you access to the data, to integrate your complex systems.
Mary?
For me, it's think about how you're messaging to your organization. Think about it from the executive level, but also think about it from the floor worker level and making sure that you're hearing their voices and you're making changes that are going to positively impact both sides of it. Yes, we need the data to make the right decisions for our executive staff, but we also have to make sure that the processes aren't onerous to the people who are doing the day-to-day work. If you take the time to do that, hear their voice, understand that's your customer, you'll be very successful.
Great. Ben?
I'd say voice of customer. Make sure that as you build out your quality processes, that the end users are involved in that design. So they have some ownership in it, that their feedback is presented in the final solution, because then they'll help, they'll feel ownership, they'll help with deployment, and I think it'll generate some passion as well for the project. And everybody will be successful if their input is placed in. And then I also would say, on top of that, is listen to their feedback after you deploy. Get feedback from them on what's working well, what isn't, so that you can continuously improve the solution and make it better and better for them.
Well, thank you, Tom, Mary, and Ben, for being here today. Thank you for the quality advice. It's been a pleasure having you all three here and learning about your first-hand knowledge. A big round of applause for all three of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. By creating partnerships, amassing data from all parts of the process internally and externally, and analyzing the data through ETQ, we are empowering people. With the knowledge, we have the power to create change, allowing us to build better products, smarter products. This is the power of quality and the power quality creates. Thank you very much.